RPGs are one of the most persistent genres over the past few decades, as gaming fans continue to love games that provide real choice and consequences and hundreds of hours of interactive gameplay. Game Pass is of course Xbox's subscription service, and RPGs are heavily featured, including a handful of games released by Xbox's own studios. We sifted through dozens of choices and whittled the selection down to 10 games, giving you what we believe are some of the best RPGs on the service. Fallout New Vegas. Starting out with what might be the best RPG in the entire service, Fallout New Vegas is a definitive Fallout game if you like great world building, deep quests and storylines, branching narratives, interesting characters, and a lot of dark humor that makes Fallout unlike anything else on the market. New Vegas was released in 2010 and served as a sequel of sorts to the breakout success Fallout 3. Developed by now Xbox-owned Obsidian, and something of a cult cultural phenomenon, it's often regarded as the best game in the entire series. If you can look back the dated graphics and some poorly aged mechanics, you likely won't find a better RPG on the market today. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. If you want to play a sprawling science fiction space trilogy that features real RPG mechanics and that can be completed in under 100 hours, there may not be a better choice in this list than Mass Effect. The Legendary Edition provides all 3 games in the original trilogy, and progress carries over from one game to the next, meaning you'll truly be able to create the character and story you want over the entire series. Mass Effect gained its legendary reputation for its memorable characters, plot threads, unique settings, and excellent role-playing mechanics. If you haven't played this series before, now is the perfect time to get lost in this great collection. Wasteland III. Xbox Studio In Exile released Wasteland 3 near the end of 2020 and delivered a classic isometric turn-based RPG with endless choice and consequence. Explore a post-apocalyptic Colorado and shape the world and story with your choices, featuring memorable characters, dark humor, and brutal combat. The Wasteland series originated in the early 1990s and was inspiration for the now Bethesda-owned Fallout. For any RPG fan looking to get into a post-apocalyptic world, or interested in checking out what the developer of the upcoming Xbox first-party game Clockwork Revolution have made previously, Wasteland 3 is very much worth checking out. Starfield. Starfield is the latest from Bethesda Game Studios and, by scale, maybe the largest RPG on Game Pass. It's a sci-fi role-playing simulation game where you explore hundreds of planets, fly and customize massive spaceships, build your character your way, and explore a vast universe to discover what's out there. Starfield is the first Bethesda Game Studios game developed and released after the studio was acquired back in 2021. The game will continue to see updates, with official mod support confirmed for next year, and DLC is expected as well. If you're at all interested in the RPG genre, Starfield is a game you want to keep on your hard drive for years to come. Fable II. The entire Fable trilogy is on Game Pass, but Fable II is the peak of the series, combining the best RPG mechanics mixed with the fun arcadey combat. The fantasy world of Albion reacts to your choices and evolves over time. There are very few games that do this to the extent Fable II does, making the game feel timeless even after all these years. With the new Fable game being developed by the talented Playground Games, there isn't a better time to jump into the series and see what people loved about these games during the early days of Xbox. The Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds is a sci-fi RPG from Obsidian Entertainment in the vein of Fallout New Vegas, with similar hub worlds to the studio's previous works in Knights of the Old Republic 2. So what's not to love? Obsidian's well-respected writing chops are up to snuff in this game, and the choice and consequence seen here mean you want to play through multiple times. It only takes 20 to 25 hours to see everything through, though that doesn't include 2 excellent post-launch expansions, meaning if you don't want to invest hundreds of hours in RPG narrative, The Outer Worlds might be the perfect game for you. Citizen Sleeper. One of the most unique games in the entire catalog, Citizen Sleeper is all about talking through a sci-fi complementary story where you play as a human whose mind has been downloaded into a robotic body. The game tackles themes of capitalism and identity, making it feel incredibly current, while simultaneously following traditional tabletop role-playing game rules. The game should take the average player around 8 or 10 hours to complete, so anyone looking to experience a compelling story-based game that makes us reflect on our very own lives should absolutely give it a look. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. In terms of pure things to do, there probably isn't a game that with more hours of content to sift through than Odyssey. Assassin's Creed took the turn from action stealth to action sprawling RPG in 2017, and in many ways Odyssey is a culmination of that decision, delivering a game that is so massive that it will take you hundreds of hours to see everything through. Featuring the choice between 2 playable characters, a story and setting in ancient Greece, tons of loot and collectibles to earn, and much more, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is well worth your time if you like games with endless amounts of content. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. Skyrim is likely the most prevalent game on this list, and one of the most recognizable games in the entire Game Pass service. It's a fantasy role-playing game, where you explore a diverse landscape featuring dragons, undead draugrs, giants, and more. For many, Skyrim is the RPG, a game that lets you do whatever, whenever, and has been played by millions and is still popular today more than 10 years after its release. As an Xbox internal studio, BGS is one that will provide Game Pass a ton of value for anyone that's an RPG fan, but there may never be any other games amongst the releases that will have the impact and staying power as Skyrim has seen. Persona 4 Golden. The Persona series is well regarded for its combination of social simulation and demon-infused turn-based combat system, and Persona 4 Golden is no exception to that rule. A fantastic entry to the series, Golden has players take on the role of a young man who heads to the quaint town of Inaba to live with his uncle for a year. Lo and behold, strange things are afoot. People are being found dead with no reasonable explanations, and there's a rumored midnight channel that might be the key to this mystery. Featuring well over 50 hours of gameplay, Persona 4 Golden is the ultimate version of the original release from way back on the PS2, and it's just as fun as it was back then. You'll fight shadows with your persona, take on more personas, and then fuse them to become stronger to take on the weirdest of foes in the midnight channel. But on top of all of this, you have schoolwork and relationship with friends, families, and strangers to keep up with that'll help you on your journey. Spend your time wisely and the fruits of your efforts will be laid bare, or you'll find yourself in a sticky situation. So that's our list in no particular order. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? Do you think there are a few games in the service that we should have mentioned but didn't? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.